Arzette, the Jewel of Faramore, pays homage to the Philips CD-i games based on the Legend of Zelda. There were 3 of them, and they are all infamously bad, so much so that they became memes. Nintendo wants to forget they exist, which is understandable. Well, now those memes have a new game, and it begs numerous questions. Was it worth making a game to make a joke? Is it a joke at all? Or is it the experience those Philips CD-i Zelda games should have been? Well, there's no time like the present, so let's jump right in and see how Arzette, the Jewel of Faramore, turned out. So, the game begins with a Ganon knockoff awakening, Demure, and a princess, the titular Arzette, being tasked with gathering MacGuffins to stop the world from being destroyed by Demure. From the get-go, the Zelda inspiration pops up from the art style of the cutscenes to the awkwardness of the direction. Also, the backgrounds are all painted with characters and enemies being fully rendered sprites. Even though it's sticking to this design, which was ugly at the time, it actually looks good here in retrospect. Plus, all the voice acting is great, along with the music. It doesn't overdo the hammy humor, which can sometimes happen in games seemingly led by memes, like Borderlands, which have a lot of hit-or-miss jokes. Overall, the gameplay is part action platformer, with Arzette getting stocked with a lot of gear as she goes along, from bombs to guns to escape ropes. It's also kind of an adventure game, as players have to solve fetch quest puzzles to figure out how to proceed. It's never mind-boggling, and if you take notes of barriers, you won't have to think so hard about where to backtrack once a new ability or item opens things up. Limited Run Games, as the publisher for CD-i software, also went all out with the packaging, because you can buy a replica Philips CD-i controller that will work on the PC and Switch versions of this game. I got a code for PS5, so it's useless to me for now, but it's still pretty cool. Look at it. Again, this begs the question, why? Is Arzette, the Jewel of Faramore, going to be the best action platformer this year? Haha, yeah, certainly not. And I don't mean that to be offensive. It has some stiffness in the controls, and the combat isn't that fluid. However, what keeps this wild experiment afloat is the charming novelty. It's weird, definitely not for everyone, but it somehow captured my attention despite never laying a finger on those Philips CD-i games, which, in the end, is the biggest blessing of all.